Welcome to Unfuck Your Legal Marketing, the show where we get brutally honest about marketing, business, and the messy middle of making it all work. I'm Gary Johnson, marketing coach, strategist, and professional BS detector for attorneys and business owners who are tired of doing what everyone else does. Around here, we skip the fluff. We have real conversations, real insights, and maybe a few F-bombs along the way. So let's get into it.
Branding means different things to different people. Most law firms only think of a brand for marketing and business development. However, a brand is so much more. My guest and friend, Jacqui Genow, is a branding guru. She has worked with both small and large firms and understands the importance of a solid brand to revenue and expenses, which equals profitability. Jacqui is the owner and founder of Genow Marketing, where she works with firms to clarify who they are, what they stand for, and how that shows up in both their culture and their growth. Her work goes way beyond logos. She focuses on alignment, consistency, and strategy. And today we are digging into how branding directly impacts profitability and culture. So listen up. Welcome, Jacqui, to Unfuck Your Legal Marketing.
Thanks for having me, Gary. Happy to be here.
Always. Thank you. So my first question, let's dive into this.
Yep.
When you hear the word brand, what do most firm owners get wrong about what it actually means?
Well, I will say that the first thing most people get wrong, and you alluded to this in the intro, is when I say brand or branding, most people immediately jump to the logo. And I mean, right? Logos are sexy. They're fun. They're tangible. But a logo is actually a visual manifestation of your brand. The brand is actually your brand strategy. When it comes to law firms, I think most of the time what they get wrong is not understanding that brand actually applies to them as a firm, because your brand is your reputation. No business, no law firm, no person owns their brand. The brand is a perception that lives in the minds of your clients.
Seriously, because you're right. It is a perception, right?
It's a perception.
It fully is.
And that's why I focus on the work that I do of finding those disconnects between how you think you're communicating, how you think that you are presenting yourself to the world, to your clients, to prospects, and how you're actually being perceived. Because it's that perception where your brand lives. So for a law firm, their reputation is their brand. The second thing I would say that they get wrong, and again, it's thinking that branding doesn't apply to them, or that branding is something that marketing does, right?
Right. Yep.
It's not. I mean, marketing might deal with the messaging. They might deal with designing logos and websites and brochures and all those things. But it is the responsibility of everyone in the firm, top down, from the senior partners to the receptionist, to own and embody that brand.
Do you find that the top, when you say the top down, the top executives, partners, name partners, managing partners in a firm, that they're typically the ones who are like, this has nothing to do with us. It has to do with everybody else but us?
I would say that is true regardless of the industry.
Right, right. Why is that? I mean, why do us executives say, that's not me. That's the company, or like you had said, that's marketing. They have to deal with that. I, as a CEO, I don't have to deal with that. Why is that?
I think we probably would have to get a psychologist on that.
And go, you're fucked up.
If I could figure that out, my job would be a lot easier.
So true.
But really that's actually a thing that sets really good executives apart. Those who understand that they are the ones that are responsible for the direction of the organization. If they don't understand the brand, then nobody else at the firm is going to understand it because everybody looks to them.
So true. It's true leadership, right? Yeah. So how would you define brand? I mean, beyond the logos, beyond the colors and the websites, how would you actually define it?
So Jay Baer had given this quote very, very long time ago that a brand is a promise that lives in the minds of consumers. And that's
Say that again. Say that again.
A brand is a promise that lives in the minds of consumers. Brand is intangible. It is emotional. It is based on people's individual experiences with your organization. So what one person might think of and describe you, as your brand may be different than what somebody else does based on their unique experience. The goal of branding is to ensure that there is consistency in the messaging and the experience that you are giving everybody who walks through your doors. Branding's a process.
So, if you do not have a clear brand, you're going to have what? Disconnect, with the market?
Yeah, you're going to have disconnects. You're going to have, I have a smaller firm partnership, and part of their brand was you get 2 senior partners on every case. We work together. It was very relaxed, friendly, family atmosphere. Well, what happens if somebody walks through the door and the first person they talk to is like, what time's your, within seconds, there's a disconnect. You are not delivering the experience that your message is promising.
So true.
The other thing is, and this is especially true in larger firms who have several practice areas. I mean, the number of times that you hear somebody say, well, I don't understand. We have all of these cases and we're doing really well in these cases, but nobody seems to understand that we also do X, Y, and Z. Well, when do you tell them that you do that? Just once on your website? Because maybe they looked at your website. Chances are they got a referral that was good enough for them. They came in through the door.
Yep.
Maybe you handed them a brochure. They glanced at it for 30 seconds.
Yep. So years ago, I had this one firm, civil litigation firm that I was working with, and we weren't working on their branding, but we were working on their marketing and business development with the senior partners. And they had so many different areas of the law that they practiced within it, that the partner that is in the office right next to you, you may not even know what they do, because you think everybody does what I do, as either a civil, but they had personal injury in there. They had criminal defense. They had estate planning. They had divorce. And they had all these, but nobody, and I'm talking about the internal. The internal had no idea. Is that branding right there?
Yeah.
Or lack of, or is that a disconnect, I should say, of branding?
Yes, that is a failure to brand, to know what your message is. There are disconnects. Disconnects with your external audience happen when there are disconnects internally.
Yeah.
Many, many years ago, I worked with an organization. They were they're an educational nonprofit. Starting off the project, the team I was working with, we interviewed a bunch of stakeholders. There were teachers, there were administrators, donors, students, parents, community members, everybody. Everybody we talked to described something different. They each only talked about the thing they personally did on a day-to-day basis. What was missing was any description of the organization as a whole. There was nothing unifying. So what happens is the more people a prospect talks to in the organization, the more confused they get. And you've already started eroding trust before there have been any serious conversations. So making sure that you have that organizational description as a whole first. This is who our firm is. This is what we stand for. This is what you can expect from us. These are our practice areas. And this is what I do. But first, you need to speak to the larger picture, and that only can happen when you are actively engaged in the process of branding. And that process includes both speaking to external audiences, but also internal audiences. This is one of the things that gets so overlooked. HR is your partner in branding.
Yeah. Right.
Right?
Yeah. They're not the no fun police. That's all. That's what I used to always know them as. You don't let me have fun. I want to do some stupid stuff. Like, come on, HR. Yeah. But you also sometimes don't think of HR as part of a brand, right? Because again, we think it's marketing. And granted, it is marketing. It fully is. It's business development. Totally is. But it's a whole lot more than that too, as you just talked about. So should firms think about aligning their brand, their culture, their growth without overcomplicating it? Because it can be very daunting, especially if you don't know what the hell you're doing.
Well, first, establish your brand. I mean, put together a solid brand strategy and messaging framework. That's the very first thing to do. Establish brand guidelines. Those brand guidelines, usually they are developed by marketing, but you want to make sure they go to all of the partners. They go to HR. They go to everybody to understand who we are. When I put together brand guidelines, I also include guidelines for LinkedIn, so that when individuals are posting on LinkedIn, they have a set of guidelines of what kind of language that they're using, what are the things to speak to, what are those universal organizational descriptions to be plugging into it.
Yeah.
And again, I work directly with HR departments. They do internal newsletters to the whole staff. When you are doing that, talk about the different practice areas. Here's highlights from all of these areas. Here, make sure that the organization is represented across the spectrum, that even if people aren't reading every single detail, as long as you have those headlines in there, it gets retained, right? Muscle memory.
Yeah.
And again, the stronger the brand is for a law firm, the better your hiring practices are going to be. Because the brand is also the culture. And a lot of those disconnects happen because maybe you're bringing in, newer attorneys who don't actually fit the culture. And then you have higher turnover and,
wasting so much time and resources.
Wasting so much time and resources.
Yeah. Yeah. But I would also say, looking at branding in regards to a hiring aspect is that if everybody is on the same page, let's just say on LinkedIn, and I am an attorney who wants to go work for a firm, I'm going to be checking out those individuals. And if everybody is, let's just say, is drinking the same Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
They're all got the same messaging. They're all going forward, You don't have a bunch of the outliers all over the place that are like, whatever, we're a champion for this. And then this other person, we're a champion for this. And you're like, where's the consistency here? Where's the congruency here, right? It causes confusion, which then, like you had said, erodes trust. And having that strong brand strategy, having the guidelines, and I love how you called it guidelines. It kind of gives us this, we need to go in this direction. But you also find that it helps out the employees with their marketing as well.
Yes.
Because now they know, okay, I can speak about this. Like I'm empowered to really dive into these certain aspects of what makes our company so awesome.
Yeah. And I don't want people to think we're not talking about being a robot. We're not talking about everybody sounding identical to, because that's terrible.
It's horrible.
We don't want that. That's soul crushing. What we're talking about are having a set of phrases, of themes. These are the things that we want to talk about. Again, if a nurturing environment is something that you want to be known for, you're going to have a couple of phrases, 2 to 3 words that talk about that. And these are just little sound bites that anybody can just sort of sprinkle in to what they're talking about.
Yeah.
It's not about everybody copying, pasting, and saying exactly the same thing. It's about having the same tone. It's about having the same approach. If you've got, one attorney from a firm who's posting and talking about killing it and smashing it and, win, 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 and somebody else talking about, my client's story, and I really got to know them and it warmed my heart, then, then a potential hire is going to be like, who are you guys? I don't know that I want to,
Yeah.
who am I getting? I don't,
Am I getting the pit bull?
am I getting
Or
the
am I
pit
getting
bull?
the really nice?
Some people want the pit bull. So if that's
Totally.
your brand, that's your brand. You don't, right? So, again, your clients, your prospects, and potential new hires, you need to be sounding like you actually work for the same firm.
Same company. So what are some red flags that tell you a firm's brand is hurting its culture and its revenue?
Yeah. So when turnover starts going up,
Yep.
that's a sign that you've been hiring the wrong people because you haven't established your culture, because you haven't established the brand. When you're hearing, rumblings from clients that they're not happy, and not even necessarily not happy about the outcome, they're not happy with the process. And when you stop getting referrals, I mean, if your referrals are suddenly drying up, take a look around. Are you all on message? Are you getting the right people? Are you getting the right clients? Where's the disconnect happening in the experience? And, that's what I do. I come in and I go through kind of a perception audit where I'm interviewing partners, clients, holders to help figure out where those disconnects are. But there are things that firms can start doing now. Go through and read people's LinkedIn posts. Do they sound like they're working from the same company? Pay attention to the people answering the phone. Go hang out in the lobby. How is that phone being answered? What are the things, what are the first questions people are asking when they walk through the door before they even see, an attorney for the actual meeting?
I love the pay attention to how you're answering the phone, because they typically don't think of those things.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to lose clients right off the bat from that. I had one of my clients as a estate planning firm, and they said that they were getting a bunch of really bad leads that weren't converting from their website. And I was like, okay, usually when you hear it's bad leads, I usually go, is it bad leads or is it you guys aren't doing something? So I just called and I said to them, the person who answered the phone, they said the name of the firm, and I said, hey, can I speak to an attorney? And they said, what's this in regards to? And I said, my father just passed away and I need help with the administrating of his trust. And they were like, okay, so how much is in assets for it? Do you have siblings? Da, da, da.
Yeah.
There was zero empathy.
Wow.
Zero. It wasn't oh my God, you just lost your father. I am so sorry to hear that. Give me a little bit of empathy. Are you fucking kidding me? I was like, what? You got to be joking me. I wanted to get off the phone so fast. And Jacqui, if you would have met the managing partner for this firm, they were so compassionate. They love their clients, and their attorneys also do too. And it was such a light bulb moment, because I'm like, here's your issue. You need your, what I call director of first impressions. You need them to get training on how the hell do they can answer the phone? Like, come on. Because these are your clients who are calling in. And if they do not feel that from you as an estate planning, and all they're thinking is they are just really, what's the word I'm looking for? Qualifying the crap out of me. Nobody likes to be qualified, right? But it doesn't go with their brand.
People don't appreciate. There are ways to qualify without, being an ass.
Yes.
So it can happen.
Totally. Yeah. Which
and it's also,
that's a podcast in and of itself.
Right. But again, underappreciated, not understood are those soft touches. How that first impression, how the phone is answered. I worked with somebody who did Social Security disability, and I went and met him at his office. It was all brown and dark. The lighting in the lobby was
Like his soul.
was not good. It was very depressing. And I just kept thinking, if I'm somebody who is coming to you to help solve my problem, I'm filled with anxiety, I'm filled with pain, I want to feel a little uplifted. I mean, you don't need a glitter ball or anything, but I want to feel some sense of hope while I'm waiting to see you. All of that's branding.
Yeah.
Branding is just a logo in your website. All of that's branding.
So what would you say are the most common branding mistakes that, let's just say, quietly erode trust? I mean, both internally and externally.
Not doing it. I mean, really, that is the biggest mistake that I see, that they think, here's like really the biggest mistake. They invest in a brand. They maybe get, a positioning statement, they get some messaging, they do their logo, they figure out their font, they get a website, and then they put it all on a shelf and they forget it.
Right. And then they go back to their same messed up.
Go back to doing what they were doing. Again, branding is a process, and you can choose whether you want to be actively engaged in that process or just sort of leave it up to fate that your clients are going to give you the reputation that you think you're putting out there.
Yep, totally true. Got it, especially reputations.
Yeah.
Okay, so if a firm wanted to pressure test whether their brand is aligned, besides going through their employees' LinkedIn and listening to how they're answering their phones, what else would you recommend they do? Like, where should they, is there a starting point? Is there something that is like, do these different things to see if it is aligned?
I mean, really, are the clients that are coming to you who you would be expecting to be coming to you? It's hard to do this part of it internally, to be honest, because like I said, I go through and I interview their clients, and because I'm an outsider, they'll
tell you the truth.
They tell me the truth, right? They will just open up and say everything that they've been holding on to. It's hard to get that honesty, especially in the process, because they want their attorney to do a good job for them. So they don't want to say anything that's so it's hard to go that route. But again, that's why there are these other ways to go about to see. I mean, shop your firm. Like, you went and you called. Go through the process, bring somebody in, have them come in for a meeting. And
bring you in, damn it.
Yeah, sure. Bring me in.
Get it done right.
But I mean, even if it's not that, just, having somebody not known to the people who work there, right? Who come in. What is that? Give them the practice areas that you're looking to kind of beef up. Pick 3 practice areas, pick 3 scenarios, have different people call exactly what you did. And then what was
and I
randomly ask your attorneys, what does so-and-so do? What does that mean?
What type of law do they practice? Do you even know?
Right.
And they're probably in a bigger firm. They're like, who's that? I don't even know who that is.
I don't even know who that is. Like, what cases do we have going on? It's going to have to be more of a daily practice. I mean, I don't want to say daily, weekly practice, but a regular practice of just, asking people, what do they know?
Yeah. And that whole third party asking somebody, I think is an important element, because I can't imagine one of my past clients just telling me you were
Mhm.
awful, da, 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 to me.
Yeah.
Like, even if that's the experience, God, I hope it's never the experience. But if it is, I mean, they would never say that to me. They would tell you that, right? Because you're a third party.
Anybody who has said, "Oh my God, they were so terrible." I mean, that's not, that's not going to happen. What they will do is they'll say, I worked with the fractional CFO, and when I interviewed his clients, every single one of them said, there was this thing that he kept trying to get us to do, and we didn't understand it, and it caused a lot of friction, and it made us really frustrated. It stressed us out. Every single one of them.
Did he change?
Yeah. So we wound
Good.
up changing the way that he delivered that service.
Yeah.
Instead of making it something as an add-on, it became part of
the process.
Work. Yeah, part of the process.
What did he say? Was he like, what the?
He was relieved. He was so relieved because he felt it. I mean,
You're kidding.
When the thing that I find so amazing about this work is I'll go through the discovery process, and then I always do a check-in here. And I don't give any individual attribution to anything. It's never like so-and-so said this. It's just, here's the general idea. Here are some things that people said. Here are views of concern, opportunities, all that stuff. And usually my clients will be like, oh, yeah, because you feel it. They can feel it. It's just that they can't articulate it. They can't point to, hey, it's this thing. This is the thing that I need to change. This is where the disconnect's happening. But once you say it out loud, they go, oh, right. That's it.
I would also think that your own internal marketing department would have a challenge with that as well, because how do you tell the managing partner? How do you tell the name partner your brand is way off? What you're doing is way off.
Yeah.
Like, that's your boss's boss's boss, like, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, how do I tell Sally that she's, making her clients uncomfortable, that she's pushing this or she's doing this? That's also really difficult, why you need an outside source for that. Because I see that as being very problematic, that if I was in the marketing as let's just say, just a marketing specialist within a big firm, I'm not going to be telling the name partner.
No.
There's no way. I like my job. Like,
right. Yeah. No, it puts people in awkward positions. And that's why people are more open with outsiders.
Yeah. Very true. Very true.
And, you were asking about pressure testing. One other thing, bringing that up with marketing, that I would say, when marketing starts struggling with coming up with content, if they're coming to the partners more and more and more with, we don't know what to write about, we don't know what to talk about, please tell us something that's going on, that's a sign that there's a disconnect happening.
Oh God, there's so much content, like, especially if you've got a good firm. So, okay, last question.
Yes.
If a firm fixes only one thing about its brand this year to, let's just say, unfuck themselves, what should that be?
Pay attention to it. Understand that it's important.
Yeah. God, I love it. Like, there's so many nuggets in this, Jacqui. Thank you. Like, from, you gotta, like, your brand is your reputation. People are your products, right? Or your product is your people.
Your product is your people.
We need to really understand that, because that allows you to look at things totally different. And when you have a disconnect in your branding, you're going to lose people. It's going to be difficult to hire attorneys.
You're not going to hire the right people, and there's going to be more turnover, and you're just going to be wasting resources.
Yeah. And it's that perception. It's the outside perception of you. So get a hold of it. I mean, the good news is that you can control this. The good news is that you can actually put in a strategy, a guideline to be able to successfully have a fantastic brand that allows you to be more profitable, because you'll be able to bring in more business, and you'll be able to service that business better because you have the right employees. And it all works hand in hand. Thank you. This has been huge. I mean, like, if somebody needs to get a hold of you, I'm putting all of Jacqui's information or contact information into the show notes, because she could say it and you guys fucking won't listen to it. And they're like, what was that again? It'll be in the show notes, but please reach out to Jacqui. She is, as you can tell from this podcast, she is the guru. She understands it. She gets it, but she can help you so that you can be more profitable. It's not that difficult if you've got the right people in place, you got the right strategy, you got the right guidelines, and you're consistently executing that, just like what Jacqui was talking about. Do that and watch your profitability go through the roof. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for helping out my people unfuck their legal marketing, because they're smart people. So
happy to do my part, Gary.
Yeah. All right. So thanks, Jacqui.
All right. Thanks.
That's it for today's episode of Unfuck Your Legal Marketing. If you got a spark of inspiration, learned something new, or at least got a good laugh, make sure to follow, rate, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Thanks for hanging out with me, and remember, the best marketing is the one that actually sounds like you. See you next time.